we're going to finish what's called the perfect system today. You know one of the tenses already. It's the perfect tense. And from what principal part do you make the stem for the perfect tense? All perfect system tenses are formed from the third principal part. Now, there are two other tenses formed from the third principal part, the pluperfect and the future perfect. Now, the pluperfect tense comes from the Latin phrase plus, so more, quam, than, perfectus. More than perfect. In both English and Latin, the pluperfect is used to describe actions that have been completed at a definite point in time in the past. And we always used the helping verb had with the verb. So you remember that imperfect means something was going on in the past. It was continuing to happen when I was talking about it, and it may still be happening. So it's imperfect. It's not been finished. These are definitely finished actions that have been completed at a definite point in time in the past. All right, so let's give you examples. He had always wanted to travel to Africa. The children ate all the cookies that their father had bought. I would not have come if I had known he was sick. So it is formed from the perfect stem plus the imperfect form of the verb to be. So make sure your chart books are out. You're going to fill these in. And of course, it's aram, aras, arat, aramus, aratus, arant. Not as a separate word, but as an ending. So think of it as one perfect plus another imperfect. So the two perfect forms together is plus or extra perfect. All right, add them to your chart book. So here we go. Now, if you were going to conjugate this, you would see in spero, sperari, sperari, speratum, use the third principal part, use the stem there, and then you just add eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratis, erant, with an had in front of them always. So pretty simple. All right, let's talk about future perfect. Now, the future perfect is one of the least used tenses both in English and in Latin. Well, we derive the name of this tense from the Latin futurus perfectus, which sounds like future perfect, doesn't it? So futurus is the fourth principal part of the verb sum esse fui futurus and means about to be. And perfectus, which means what it sounds like. So about to be perfected. So the future perfect indicates an action that will have been completed or finished or perfected at some point in the future. And always we use the helping verb phrase will have. So example, by the time you get here, I will have finished cleaning my room. It's going to be completed. It's not completed yet, but it's definitely going to be completed. The team will have played for 5 hours. So they may not be at 5 hours now, but by the time they stop, for sure, I can guarantee you they will have been playing for 5 hours. David will have left before Sarah arrives. Maybe David and Sarah in a fight, and Sarah doesn't want to be there when David's there. So you promise Sarah, or Sarah's friend, that David's going to be gone for sure by the time she goes. All right. So if the pluperfect is formed from the third principal part plus the imperfect form of SA, it stands to reason that the third principal part is formed from the future forms, the stem plus the future form of SA. So we take the stem as usual, and at the third plural, the one thing you need to understand is the third plural is arint. It's different. If you remember way back to when you first learned future, you always wanted to go aro, aris, arit, arimus, aritus, arint. Not so. Here it actually, you can finally put erint in there. But other than that, it's the future forms of SA. All right. So again, we use the third principal part. We take the stem and then we just add. It's not a separate word. It becomes all one word, eritus, and then of course that new one, erint. That is it. Pretty simple stuff.